Things I learnt at jazz school, part 4. The secret? Kind of the secret.
Don't think. Feel.
Hey, what is up YouTube? Andrew Rooney here. I'm a full-time drummer and drum teacher here in Auckland, New Zealand, and I want to tell you about the number one guaranteed way to improve on the drums. I'm not here to sell anything. There's no 10 easy payments of $99.95. None of that. I've been playing professionally for 15 years. I've been teaching for almost 20. And I promise you, I can tell you without any shadow of a doubt, this is guaranteed to work for any drummer 100% of the time. Of course, it is to buy a 14 by 5.5 A&F raw brass snare drum. I'm just kidding. Over the years or decades, what I've seen works with students, and thinking back to information and advice given to me, the number one thing you can do to improve your drumming is record yourself.
You are the top 1%.
The elite. Best of the best. We'll make it better.
I can divide drummers into two groups, those who record themselves and those who don't. It's that simple. If I put it another way, I could divide them into the two groups of those that know what they sound like and those that don't. Now stick with me here. Have you ever heard yourself back in a video or perhaps a voice message and thought,
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
that's not me, I don't sound like that. Or think about this, perhaps you see yourself in a photo and it was taken on the day and you see it on that day and you think, I don't look like that. The problem here is you're kind of right. You don't sound like that to yourself. You don't look like that to yourself. You never hear or see yourself the way you actually are. Now, there are many factors at play here. If we bring this back to drums, most of us do not have the facility or headroom to be able to step outside our bodies and observe what is going on in a musical setting or just when we're playing the drums alone. Now, I had done a few recordings of varying types before I went to music school. It wasn't until I got to music school that I started to hear, and I kept hearing people talking about recording themselves and, you should record yourself. Oh, did you record that? Let's record that and listen back to it. That kind of referencing type of mindset. I recall one time after a combo concert, during my one-on-one lesson time with my tutor, Ron Sampson, we just basically spent the whole hour listening back to the previous night's combo concert, which was absolutely horrifying, of course, as you would expect. And he sort of said, listen to this. And we listened to this little passage. It was the start of a song. And I didn't really think, the whole thing sounded like a train wreck to me, so I wasn't focused on any particular thing. And he pointed out, you don't start in time. When you join a song, you don't play in time. And he was quite specific on this. He said, you've actually got really good time. He made a point of saying you've got great time, but you're not starting in time. Anytime you get feedback like that, it's kind of, puts you off balance. I didn't think too much more of it. I stored it in the memory bank and didn't think too much more of it. And I believed him, but I sort of didn't kind of know exactly where he was coming from. Fast forward a few years later, I'm doing a professional theatre gig. And at that point, you would expect to have your together. And the bass player, who was one of the absolute top bass players in town, one of the best, certainly someone I'd listen to very carefully. And he said, man, you don't start in time. And I thought,
Yes, well, that may be the case, but your mama's so hairy. The only language she speaks is Wookiee.
huh. So Ron had brought this up a couple of years ago at university. And I apparently still haven't sorted this thing out. So I videoed a couple of nights in the pit, just on myself, but obviously you could get the audio of everyone. And he was right. Now, many years later, I know exactly what they're talking about. You could think of a train racing along at 60 miles per hour. And what I was doing was trying to just jump cold onto that train with no lead up into it. Now, this is probably a separate video, how I fix this problem, how you enter a song in time. It seems ridiculously simple, and it's a simple concept, but like the previous episode I did on things I learned at music school, simple is not easy. Doing the type of work I was doing and professional gigs where you're getting paid good money and you're recording for people, not starting a track in time, taking a bar or two or even a beat or two to sit on that train and chug along with it, big problem. Let's just park that not starting in time story. Another one, this was 2007, I remember clearly because I'm still haunted by it. It was my second year at university, second year at music school, and there was a recording session popped up in town, and I'm doing the drums on it. One of the songs is a really simple shuffle. Dun ka dun ka dun ka dun ka, that kind of vibe. Very, very simple stuff. And I felt like I had nailed it. In the room, I felt like, yeah, this is killing. I've nailed this first take. All good. Band goes around out of the studio into the control room. As I'm walking into the control room, the engineer at the boards stops, looks at me. What do you think he says? Yeah, shuffles are hard, man. Oh, so really important. And it's a very funny story now because I've worked with that engineer many a time since then. What I was feeling at the time in the room with the band, it wasn't translating to what was getting recorded. Really important lesson. Recording yourself is something that I encourage all my students to do. It's obviously not something I force them to do, and obviously with their permission or with their parents' permission, if appropriate. I always encourage them to record themselves. It's really healthy and helpful to know what you sound like. And I honestly cannot stress enough the fact that if you do not record yourself, you do not know what you sound like. Now, I'm going to repeat this because it really is profound, and it's something that I ignored for years, for far too long. Now listen up really carefully. Leave a comment if you want. You can disagree all you want, but I know I'm right on this. If you don't record yourself, if you've never recorded yourself, you do not know what you sound like. It does make me laugh when I hear people talking about a drummer like Phil Rudd or Dave Grohl, and they'll say, "Oh, that's easy," and that's fine. And people are allowed their opinion, and social media, people can say whatever they want. That's fine, but it does show a level of ignorance. And at least, I mean, you want to say back to them. What I want to say to them is, let us see you play it. Can you video yourself playing it? And I don't mean that in a confrontational way. I mean it more in like a learning way. Show us. Smells Like Teen Spirit. Such an easy song. Cool. Can you record it and show us? And I guarantee anyone who says Back in Black or Highway to Hell or Smells Like Teen Spirit or Come As You Are is easy, I guarantee you they cannot play it. I don't mean cannot play it in that they can't play the notes. That's different. That's a different subject. I'm talking about, can they make it feel good? Are they tempo resetting during the song? Is everything balanced? Is the kick powerful? Is everything appropriate volume? Does it sound at least a little bit like the feel on the original recording? And you are certainly not aware of this, unless you record the song. If you are playing the song, I'm going to keep picking on Nirvana here, Smells Like Teen Spirit, a song everybody knows, with a deceptively hard drum part. Especially the quarter notes with the 16th notes on the kick and between the snare and the kick. Not easy. And not easy the way Dave Grohl plays it and executes it and the sound he achieves. It is such a different beast to putting your headphones on, jumping down on your kit, playing through the song. You can get from start to finish and it feels great and you got it sorted. A completely 100% different ballpark to doing the same thing but putting the red light on and recording it. And I would challenge you, if you are in that situation, I mean, I was in this situation. I'm not accusing anybody of anything or trying to be, again, confrontational, but try it out. It really is difficult. Now, a very heartbreaking but actually quite wonderful thing will happen if you start recording yourself. You will become comfortable and you will get used to how you sound on the drums. Let me repeat, if you have not recorded yourself, if you do not record yourself regularly, you do not know what you sound like. Now, what you hear back, especially if you're going to try this for the first time, just recording yourself on your phone, you will be horrified. I certainly was. Like anything, do it a couple more times. It's not so bad, and you start to get used to like your voice when you're talking. In this case, you'll start to get used to what your drums sound like, and you'll make little fine-tuning adjustments in your tuning. And oh, that fat snare I had, that didn't actually work as good as I thought it did. Or those hi-hats, I'm playing them too loud. Very, very slowly and over time, and sometimes almost subconsciously, you start to chisel your sound and you start to chisel your playing. Give it a bit more time, a couple of months or a couple of years, it really will become your reference point, and you'll be able to check in on yourself whether you are on track or whether your ears are tricking you or if things are sounding as good as you want them to. After a long time of doing this, after years of recording yourself, not being too crazy hard on yourself, just observing and taking it in, trying again, observing, listening, making small adjustments, it will become your rock and the guaranteed way to improve your drumming. I really do hope this video is of use to you. I was the guy who never recorded himself, especially by the time I was at that uni level. I really missed the boat on that, especially the first year or two. And I wouldn't say it's a regret, no regrets, because I'm really big on it now and I record myself more than anybody. But yeah, I really do hope it's as profound for you as it is for me. Give yourself time. I would look at it a little bit of a mindfulness or meditation practice where you're not supposed to judge yourself. I wouldn't record yourself and judge it or critique yourself too much. I don't think you even need to do that. You will subconsciously, naturally, organically fix things as you go through, as you hear them. Next time you recorded it, oh, that worked. You just don't know these things unless you're hearing them back, unless you have separation from the source, from the moment where you recorded it. I really do wish you all the best on this. I can guarantee this will be the most powerful thing that will ever happen. The biggest difference that will ever be made in your drumming, and it comes from recording yourself. Trust me, I know, I've been there, I've got the t-shirts. Until next time, my friends, keep chopping wood. Ciao.